For having us, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, so why don't we start with you guys giving a brief introduction on who you are and why you guys are superstars, why you are, rock stars and what you guys do.
Okay, so we are Paragons of the Attorneys. We're both civil attorneys. We concentrate on employment law, personal injury, and then we also do homeowners insurance litigation. We actually met in law school. And I think the reason we're successful is because number one, we're blessed by God, but number two, we concentrate on customer service. We're very big on customer service. We're huge on customer service. And I think that we believe that the secret to success is helping as many people as possible. The more people you help, the more blessed you are.
Oh, definitely. No, I would definitely agree with that. So, I mean, honestly, what are just a couple ways that you guys prioritize customer service then?
Honestly, I think when it comes to like integrity, trust, these are things that are necessary to be able to deliver for our clients. It's hard to find good attorneys that really care about the case. Number one, and number two, that are going to be upfront and tell them the truth, right? So, part of customer service is being someone that's loyal to the client, also, but being accessible and being able to provide different forms of communication and making it easy for them, right? So that they can get a hold of you whenever they need you.
Yeah, I would also add that we have a fantastic staff, and what we try to do is a lot of law firms. I think the biggest complaint that people have about law firms is you can't get somebody on the phone, right? Or you can't get the attorney on the phone. So we actually take a proactive approach to that, where we have our staff reach out to the clients and update them as much as possible, and that avoids that stigma of not being able to get in contact, because we're actually getting in contact with you. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm glad you guys are taking that proactive approach. I think that is definitely the way that, if you want to survive in this, there's a lot of competition right now. I know, especially where you guys are, it's not like a rural city, you're downtown. Right. So, you guys have to stand out from the crowd. And it seems like you guys are taking into account some really good practices. I'd love to know how COVID specifically affected your business, maybe some challenges that you guys faced, how you were able to overcome them. I know a lot of firms, some struggled adapting to online, other ones, they're like, hey, we were doing this stuff already. So what did that look like for you guys?
I think we're very blessed in the sense that Juan is very good with tech. And because he's very good with tech, we were able to adapt relatively quickly. I'm not going to lie to you. We didn't really, I think, how long were we working from home?
A week.
A week.
We never stopped.
We never stopped, man. We never stopped. And that's the good thing about doing insurance litigation, right? That with insurance litigation, insurance companies were still open, right? People were still negotiating from home. Whether court is open or court is not open, we're still bugging these insurance companies and litigating for our clients. So we didn't really feel it, and we're very blessed. We're very happy about that, but we didn't really feel COVID the way other industries probably did.
I'm going to be honest with you. Believe it or not, I almost felt like we settled more cases during COVID than not. Than not during COVID, and the reason why is because I guess a lot of people in the insurance industry needed to justify that they were doing something, especially at home. Right. So I'm assuming that they really stepped it up, and we were able to negotiate and work out a lot of these cases for our clients, where surprisingly would have taken a lot longer. So COVID didn't really affect us in terms of financially for the most part. There's always some changes that you have to have here and there, but I think it helped us adapt. And one thing that I really liked about COVID is that I felt like the industry did not really have the backbone to be able to build so much technology around it. So now people are getting familiar to a lot of things that were already being used in like the medical industry and stuff like that. So I think that's it was actually very good for us. Like there was no such thing as court through Zoom, right. That didn't exist in the legal industry.
Right. Even this meeting, man, like what state are you in?
I'm in Michigan.
You're in Michigan. We're
in Florida. Yeah. So these things were not available, or they were available, but nobody was taking advantage of them.
Right.
I like to even say that QR codes made a comeback.
Yeah, they did.
QR codes were dead, prior to COVID.
Right.
And now it seems like everybody's trying to implement them in some way, So I would say that COVID was a blessing in disguise in some form, right? We went through a lot of changes, but we made it through.
I think another thing is we took advantage of to an extent, we took advantage of the fact that people were at home. I think that another reason that we're so blessed is because we're actually marketers. Juan and I are more business people than we are attorneys. We have great attorneys that work here. I like to think of myself as a great attorney. I know Juan's a great attorney, probably the greatest negotiator I've ever known. But aside from that, we're very good at marketing. So what we did is, as soon as COVID happened, we opened up, some people were losing jobs. We actually opened up a digital marketing department. And we brought in a digital marketer that worked with us, and we just started pumping up videos, kind of what you're doing right now, right? We started pumping up videos. We started pumping out, I guess, what would you call them? Posts, memes,
content, newsletters,
man, just creating as much content as possible, because people were at home, and if they were online, they were either online or they were on their phone, And in this industry, it's all about top of mind. You got to be top of mind,
especially personal injury,
right?
Oh yeah, no, and that's actually something I wanted to talk to you guys about, because I saw it seemed like you guys had a really good social media presence and all the content that you were going out there, because content marketing is very important. It allows you to kind of share your expertise without being, like salesy or whatever, like, hey, I'm Joe Schmo attorney, call me, whatever. So that's cool that you guys are taking that approach. What are some recommendations you would give to maybe other attorneys who are struggling to take that approach? Maybe they don't know much about social media or content marketing.
I would say the number one is, learn a little bit about sales, a little bit about sales and marketing. I think to take a book, learn from experts, maybe people in the industry, and listen to their advice, right? Don't think that there's only one way of doing things, because things have been done in the last 20 years, 30 years in a specific way. I think the internet opens up a lot of doors to be able to, provide new opportunities and ways you can reach people that you probably would have never been able to reach before. So what I would say is learn about pay-per-click campaigns, learn about Facebook marketing, learn about Instagram marketing. If you're into TikTok, figure out how to do TikTok. Right. Whatever way you can reach new people and new audiences. I'm not saying you got to dance on TikTok. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, there's an audience everywhere waiting for you. Everybody's willing to listen to you if you have a good content, you have something you can teach them.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to sell them, your services immediately, but at least be that person that they think about in the event they need you. And I think that is the key. Let's not worry so much about now, but let's worry about how do we get clients in the future.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with him more.
And data's king, by the way. Data's king. Rob and I.
Stop trying to make the sale and create value.
Absolutely.
Create value. Teach people, for example, we have a series that we have on Instagram called Excuse Me. And what it basically is just teaching people legal concepts in a dumbed down manner. And you'd be surprised how many people find that interesting. Everybody's seen the I Want to Be Your Attorney commercial. It doesn't really do much for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Try to figure out how you can help. The more you can help people, the more information you can give them, the more you go out of your way to make sure that they get something from meeting with you. I promise you, the more money you're going to make.
I would also add that you need to know your audience, right? As is obvious, I'm Perez, he's Gonzalez, we're Hispanics, right? So we need to learn how to market to Hispanics, especially in Miami, right? Have you ever had Cuban coffee?
I have not, no.
But you should one day. And you're going to understand a lot of our culture down here, right? So everybody here loves Cuban coffee. It doesn't matter what nationality or ethnicity you are. Everybody loves Cuban coffee. So one of the things that we've done is Excuse Me, which is what Robert was talking about. It's a very Miami way of teaching people legal concepts. And probably you see it and you don't even understand some of these references, but down here in Miami, people will understand some of the references we're pointing out. And it's humorous, but in a very professional manner.
Right.
And we're learning how to get to that audience that normally would have never even bothered to check us out. Because, law is not sexy, man. It's boring stuff. Right. So how do we get
especially insurance law?
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing fun about this. But how do we get people to be interested in this? And that's the key. I can't teach you that. You got to figure that out.
Oh, definitely. I think what you said, knowing your market is very, very important for sure. And, knowing their true pain points, because I feel like a lot of times lawyers press what they want sometimes on, you know, who they think they should be speaking to, or the problems they think they need to be solving, when in reality, you know, their audience might need a completely different service or whatever. So, you know, I like that you guys have all this educational content out there, and I want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into that. I know recently you guys just made a video on wrongful termination. So what are 3 of the biggest misconceptions that people have when they reach out to you in regards to maybe, you know, being wrongfully terminated?
Okay, I would say at least one of them is everybody feels discriminated,
Right.
right? And discrimination happens in the workplace all the time, but it's not as easy to prove it. So a lot of times when it comes to labor and employment, you got to have documentation and you got to have evidence. That's pretty much what solves the case, right? If you've been discriminated at work, but you never told anybody, that doesn't mean anything. You're never going to be able to be able to put pen on paper and try to settle that case for anything near what the case is probably worth, unless you're able to prove that you did try to stop this from happening, right? You documented it, you reported it, and nothing was done about it.
Right.
So, and that's one of the things.
Also the fact that, you know, people need to understand what discrimination means. And, you know, we can go through this whole legal spiel right now, but it really goes down to you falling under a protected class. But I think more than that, what a worker should know is that a lot of workers, they are scared of talking to an attorney or complaining about being discriminated. And what they don't understand is that the law protects them. If you feel you're being discriminated, you have the right to tell your HR person, hey, I feel I'm being discriminated by A or B reason. And a lot of people are really scared of doing that because then they feel they're going to get fired. Guess what? If they fire you, now we have the ammunition for a retaliation claim. They're not going to fire you. And if they do, you really need to talk to us. You get what I'm saying? So
Sure.
I think the biggest misconception is fear. And look, in Miami, I can tell you that the biggest issue here is a lot of undocumented workers. So undocumented workers, they get discriminated or they get taken advantage with overtime all the time.
Yeah.
And they're really scared to file a lawsuit because they feel, hey man, what's going to happen with my legal status? What I can tell you is that there's laws that protect them. There's laws that protect you, and what you need to do, speak to an attorney no matter what. Always complain and then speak to a lawyer.
There's also the aspect of misclassification. I don't know if it's a big issue in Michigan, but it is a big issue down here in South Florida, which is basically the independent contractor versus the employee, right? And that analysis is a very difficult analysis to do, but there are some things that are just almost easily understood as employee versus independent contractor. So that is one of the misconceptions as well, because a lot of people think that, you know, oh, they labeled me as an independent contractor, therefore I'm not an employee.
Just because your boss says something,
that's not true.
Doesn't mean that that's fact. Even if your boss says, hey, listen, you're getting fired because somebody heard you say a bad word in the bathroom. I mean, don't take their word for it. Okay. You speak to an attorney, and there's ways that we can use circumstantial evidence to really prove the reason you got fired.
Gotcha.
Right.
No, that's really valuable. Thank you guys for sharing that. So, you know, I'd be curious, you know, it sounds like you guys are kind of on a roll recently, you know, COVID, fortunately was good for you guys. At least you were able to capitalize it, which I'm glad. But what do you think the future holds for you guys? You know, in the rest of 2021, are you looking to expand in any particular areas, open a new office? What does the future of Paragonza look like for you?
I think we're on a roll as far as marketing goes. I mean, we have a great opportunity right now with a brilliant marketing director that we have. We like to create content, and we're looking at creating more content. So I can only see us expanding. I'm just being honest. I can only see us expanding and getting more blessings.
I think we want to concentrate a little bit more in personal injury, you know, because COVID kind of took a little bit of a hit on that.
People weren't driving. People weren't
driving
going to restaurants. People
right.
weren't.
So we want to go a little bit stronger on that. And also, like Robert would say, maybe we can start working, which we've been discussing, the idea of doing a podcast, doing different things that we can reach the audience in a different way. Yeah. And ultimately, you know, expand that area of law. When it comes to personal injury, we do it. We're very good at it, I like to say. But there's always ways of improving things. And every day is, you know, calibrating and adjusting and doing new things. And that's how you become better over time.
Yeah, people don't understand how valuable this is. Like, look, I mean, you look very young, man. I don't know how old you are, but you're obviously brilliant. I mean, you're
on the right track.
This show this show, like attorneys don't understand how much value you're providing to them. You get what I'm saying? Just by allowing them to be on this show, you're creating great content for the law firm. I mean, we're very grateful that you have us on.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And that, you know, that's kind of the whole reason I wanted to start the show, because I think there definitely are a lot of law firms that, you know, have taken a more technology focused approach, kind of more modern thinking, but there's definitely some that have kind of been left in the dust. You know, maybe they don't know about it or they're a little bit scared. So I want to have people like you guys share your insights. And not only that, share insights with individuals who are watching. So I really appreciate you guys' time today. My final question for you all, what is one final thing? You've been dropping a lot of value, so I appreciate it. What's one final, or I guess two final, since there's two of you, I'll give you two. What is two final things you would say to maybe somebody who's watching this, maybe they're in Miami and they need to speak to an attorney in one of your three areas? What is one final thing you would share with them?
Specifically, I would say, look, always get a second opinion. All right. You don't have to compromise the first attorney, and usually work with someone that you feel comfortable working with. You know, a lot of times it's not necessarily only about the expertise. There's a lot of 30, older folks who are in the industry, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're the best. Okay. You know, the best is about work ethic. You know, who's really going to go out there and fight for your case?
Who cares?
Who cares? That's what makes you the best. And who's going to be honest to tell you, hey, look, you don't have the case you think you do. Because the worst feeling in the world is to be sold something and realize that it's not that. Right. You know, you're going to be disappointed to learn at the end you were lied to. And that probably hurts more than losing the case or not getting exactly what you wanted. So ultimately, you know, get an opinion that you feel comfortable with, and also work with people that give you that feeling that they really care.
Definitely.
And you were talking as far as a client goes, or as far as attorneys go?
Either one, whichever one. You know, I was specifically talking about clients, but you know, since Juan gave something in that regard, what about attorneys? You know, for attorneys that are struggling.
So as far as attorneys are concerned, if you're an attorney and you're in Miami or you're anywhere and you're struggling, you're gonna call me and you're gonna call Juan, 786-650-0202. We have helped many young people that have either worked for us, or if they haven't worked for us, they were in law school and they were really scared of starting a law firm. And I want to give you advice. I want to help you out, and I want to make sure that you're successful. And I think that older attorneys, this is what it's about.
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
Paying it forward,
making sure you help the next generation or anybody who's in need figure it out and help them become successful.
And I'm going to give you a technical tip, okay? And this is a huge secret.
Yeah.
Okay. Learn how to capture data. Attorneys do not know how to capture data.
Or hire somebody that can.
Or hire somebody that captures data.
Yeah.
Right? If you're seeing 5 people a day, that right there is 25 people a week. Okay? Do the math. 25 times 52, we're getting into high numbers. Those are people you could be retargeting in the future with newsletters, with postcards, all sorts of different things. You're already seeing them. What are you doing with this data? Now that is invaluable if you start to capture it.
Yep.
And thank me later.
No, hey, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. This was very valuable, and I really appreciate both of you guys being here. If anybody besides the phone number wants to learn more, maybe a website, where can they go to find out more about you guys?
All right, they can go to paragonza.com, just like it's spelled in our step and repeat.
Follow us on Instagram at Paragonza Law.
Right. And again, you know, just reach out to us. If you want to email us, you can email us at office@paragonza.com as well.
We both get it.
We both get it. We'll be more than happy to set up a coffee. And next time that you're in Miami, I'll treat you to Cuban coffee. How's that?
Definitely.
Hey, that sounds great, guys. Well, thank you, Rob. Thank you, Juan, for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm Luke Hyde, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Have a nice one.